Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alfany. Okay, this is the information I wanted to get to. I've been reading more and more articles. I don't know what's going on with these US banks, but I've been reading more and more articles about people's accounts getting frozen. Things are going awry. Then you had the Fed itself. Go to the Fed's Twitter, right? And I said this in other videos where banks are having problems, but they're keeping it quiet. The Fed itself put out a tweet. It was either this morning or yesterday. They made a tweet where they were saying, if you're having problems with banks, it was something like they were trying to give you a solution, or you could contact them about the problems. They were going to let you know your rights. The only reason they would put something out like that is because they know what I've been reading, which is the truth that a lot of banks seem to be having some sort of problems. Something to keep our eye on. Be careful with these banks. So you have all of that going on. Then on top of that, you have the issue of a looming liquidity crisis. We're dealing with a recession, and actually it's deflation. I told you. See, here's the thing. With deflation and the mass layoffs that have been happening, don't worry, we're going to get into the numbers. All of this plays into what I'm going to say later. With deflation, mass layoffs have been already happening. Deflation will take you right past a recession. That is why I've been talking about it for months. Deflation will take you past a recession and into a depression. That's why it's dangerous. And I was saying they need to institute certain mechanisms in order to solve this problem, but they're not doing it. As a matter of fact, it was quite startling to me. I read a few articles where certain entities in the US government are trying to deny that we're in a recession. Hey, and based on technicality, no, we're definitely in a recession. And it's going to, look, because we're in deflation, the recession would be very short because it would lead directly into a depression. And that is what they should have wanted to avoid. But what I'm saying with that is because of the denial of the problem, they won't be able to solve it. And because of the denial of the problem means that they're probably going to be lackadaisical even if they're trying to solve it, right? They're pretending that there is no problem when there is a massive problem. Everybody can see it. Everybody can feel it. Now, why that is, I don't know. That's up to you to determine. However, because of that, it's only going to lend to more of a liquidity crisis. And the Fed right now, I don't think they know what to do. Well, they've proven, in my humble opinion, that they don't know what to do. Their answer has been to raise interest rates and basis points. And it has already, look, it doesn't have to be at a much higher rate than where it is now to crush the economies because of everything else that's going on. So, gas prices going up, things of that nature, food shortages, things that are out of their, I wouldn't say it's out of their control, but I think they didn't take that into account. But because of that, it compiles all of the damage that is done when you raise interest rates and things like that. When you are really the only participant in an economy, you're buying up everything in sight. But you're also the one that was printing all of the money. It can't be that way. So what the people are looking at is deflation that will take you past a recession very quickly into a depression. And so they're going to need a solution for that. Now, the solution would be to rely, as I said many times before, on the biggest liquidity cushion in history. A liquidity cushion that's not the Fed printing money, but is gathered from the value of a basket of currencies from around the world. How can that happen? That can happen because XRP, XLM, Algorand and such, they are able to have every bit of money, value, however you want to put it, pulled into them from around the globe. There is no other asset that can do that or stands to do that openly right now. On-demand liquidity is the perfect example. And because of that, there can be so much value accumulated in something like XRP if the federal government were to use it. Don't worry, we're going to get to these numbers. Just bear with me. It will be able to patch up the hole that is in the United States and in the Western world, in their governments, that are ailing right now, and they are in a state of collapse. Now, that doesn't mean an entire collapse. Even a partial collapse is quite devastating, but it would lend to the rise of the bank coins, and people would become unbelievably rich or wealthy because of that. But XRP, XLM, Algorand, assets like that, liquidity assets, especially XRP, can create the biggest liquidity pool on earth. We already read about that in the Bank of International Settlements. Then just also imagine if the Bank of International Settlements also forces these banks to enact staking, which is something that they put out in their document that we read here on this channel. So XRP can save them. Maybe that's why it was delisted everywhere. Even though the SEC, I recall them saying, hey, we didn't tell them to delist XRP. I believe that's what they said. You have to look that up. And also, we have the advent of all the other crypto recently that were listed as securities, but they haven't been removed. Maybe this is why XRP has been delisted, because I do believe that Ripple will work very deeply with the federal government. They have 3, I believe, of their top people at Ripple on the Faster Payments Council of the United States of America. If they were going to work in some sort of capacity with the federal government, they could very well create that liquidity pool or liquidity cushion and help the United States get out of the situation that they're in right now. But that would be such a meteoric rise. It would be mind-blowing, the money that will come in. But it would be the advent of the new monetary system that would also give Ripple and XRP so much power that they would become, as I had stated in videos in the past, they would become like a supervisory entity. They would become sort of like a shell for the a shell or a skin of the legacy financial system, an outward layer of it. I mean, outright, unlike anything we have ever perceived before. And they will be a power in the world. So this also could be why they delisted XRP and will not relist XRP. So when you go to sell XRP in the future, such like they will buy it. I believe you will definitely be able to sell it, and they will buy it from you, so you will never have it again. Okay, now let's get into some of these numbers here. I just wanted to cover all of that because then let's take a look at these numbers. They're unbelievable. This is from the Federal Reserve.gov. And it begins here. Factors affecting reserve balances of depository institutions and condition statement of the Federal Reserve banks. Let's get into some of these numbers. Okay, this is in millions of dollars. So just imagine if we are working with the federal government in the future, which already a precedent has been set by Cypherium, which that is not something that I discovered. Cypherium was brought to me by one of the members only, Akuma. Okay, so that's where I learned about it from. So they're already working with a distributed ledger technology company, which means that the future is open for them to work with others. And Ripple is the only one that has on-demand liquidity. It says Reserve Bank credit. Now, when I read these numbers, keep in mind, everything is going to be tokenized. Who are they going to trust more than XRP and Ripple or XLM Stellar or Algorand? All of those 3 chosen ones have close ties with the U.S. federal government. So here we have it. It says securities held outright. Remember, they will be tokenized. You have here $8,467,758,000,000 worth of securities in the in the Fed. My goodness, let's go here. Let's go down a little bit. Loans, they have $19,575 million worth of loans, okay? Mortgage-backed securities, they have $2,730,856,000,000 worth of mortgage-backed securities. Unbelievable. Gold, they have $11,041,000,000 worth of gold. Everything is going to be tokenized. Where does the price of XRP go if they work with the federal government? I believe that they will also. I really, really do. Special drawing rights, SDRs. I'm probably going to talk about this in the future, so I'm not going to cover it right now. I see something very special happening with SDRs because of the advent of XRP. I really, really do. But let's just read this amount here. They have $5.2 billion worth of special drawing rights. Now, let me ask you a question. The Fed and any central bank or any bank that's holding SDRs can access SDRs if they need, if they have like a liquidity crisis, they have a problem. Do you really believe that $5.2 billion is enough to save any of these economies that are trillions in debt? Trillions. SDRs can't do it. They were never structured that way, as ambitious as they were when they first came out. XRP is structured that way. It can access all of the money if they really, really wanted to go after it. And I'm not saying that they would take all of the money. I'm not saying that. But they only need to take a modicum of that, and they would be able to aid in the erasure of national debt. I mean, really, if they really wanted to, around the world, if they utilize XRP in the right way, theoretically speaking, they could use the liquidity from XRP to chew away at that massive global debt. I don't know if they will do that, because I don't think that the legacy system really cares about the little people that will get crushed by the global debt or national debts. But I'm saying theoretically, that is a possibility. It would be a part of what they call the Great Reset. All systems would be set where that they can thrive once again. They just need to get a run going, and then they can sprint, right? So it doesn't have to be the beginning of a race, the beginning of the race. It just has to be them getting a good stride, so to speak. I don't know if I'm saying that the right way, but I think you get what I'm saying. So now we could, like SDRs, $5.2 billion worth of SDRs. That's all the IMF gave to the Fed, the US Fed. That's unbelievable. So now can you see why so many countries are not listening to the IMF? The IMF has done the minimum, while Ripple is doing the maximum. They have to. They're on the rise. They want to make a good impression. So why wouldn't the federal government work with XRP, who has 3 of their top members on the Faster Payments Council of the United States? They're also in a Digital Euro Association. They're also in a Digital Pound Association. Do you see what's happening? We hold an asset that is beyond powerful. The money that will flow through there, that could possibly flow through there, is beyond what anyone can think about. I mean, not think about, sorry about that, but fathom. At this particular time, because it's never happened before. Now, there's no guarantees in anything. We're not here for guarantees, but we know what we read and we trust ourselves. Let's continue on here. Okay. Currency in circulation. This is from the Fed. $2,276,828 trillion. This is what they're saying they have as currency in circulation. Of course, there is a little blurb here on number 11, so you can go down and look for that for more clarification in that. Treasury cash holdings. It says 99 million. Are you seeing these numbers? I can't even believe that this, like, what is the Fed doing? There must be something that I don't understand, and I'm always open to learn. I am. I'm always open to, being corrected so that I can come into a greater knowledge. But what I'm looking at here, it explains a lot to me as to why their monetary policy is so bad, as to why when they speak, almost nothing, they rarely make any sense in their tactics. Something is wrong at the Fed. They're going to need help. This is just my humble opinion. They're going to need help. I mean, when you rely on your success as being, hey, if everyone gets in trouble, we're just going to buy everything in sight to prop them up. And that's what they've been doing. They've been propping up a lot of businesses. That's not real. That's not real success. That's your solution. That something's wrong. they're going to need help. Imagine the money that they do have, not money, my apologies, the value that they do have though, flowing through the XRPL. What does it do to that price? That's why I want to say this. Trillions and trillions of dollars they would have to pull into XRP to acquire the help of the XRPL, of Ripple. That's number one. Number two, also because of all of the capital, the liquidity pool that they can draw on from on-demand liquidity. And I do firmly believe that Ripple will become a lender of last resort, as I believe that if they apply everything appropriately, they will be one of the richest NBFIs, non-banking financial institutions in history, if everything goes according to plan, because they can access more money than anyone has ever accessed outright, right? So I do believe also that these different commercial banks, central banks, and businesses will be able to utilize Ripple and XRP if they need extra liquidity, they need extra capital. If the Fed did not believe that at some point that was a possibility, they would not have special drawing rights, SDRs. They would not have them. And if they have SDRs, that means that they could possibly pad themselves with something much greater than the value of these SDRs. 2 billion is nothing. It's nothing. At this point, that tiny amount of money is only a way for the IMF to keep sort of a grappling hook in you to say, see, we did something for you. Now you have to do stuff for us. See, we have a good relationship. We gave you SDRs. This is just a control mechanism. And I believe the Fed knows that. That's why the Fed doesn't go along with what the IMF wants whatsoever. Even some countries, El Salvador, etc., they don't even listen to the IMF, even though they've been threatened by them, right? So I believe, yes, to close out, that Ripple, XRPL might be used heavily. I will say might, because there's a possibility that maybe things don't go exactly that way. But I do believe there's a strong possibility that they will work with the federal government. These numbers here are absolutely mind-blowing. As I said before, look deeper into this you can click that little join button and you can take a look at this document here, or you can just pull it up yourself if you really want to. But look at those numbers and it's going to blow your mind. And then look at the governmental ties that Ripple has. They have very good ties with the US federal government, right? They just don't have, the only entity that has a problem with Ripple in XRP is the SEC. That's it. That's it. All right. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. I don't play around with XRP, Quant, or any of the bank coins at all. The potentiality is too high. I see what's coming. I believe I know what's coming. And like my father always taught me, you start something, you finish it. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to see this to the finish line. That's just personally how I feel. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not trying to influence you at all. I don't want to be known as an influencer. I just want to bring you the information out there, and then so you can make your own decisions. So you have control over your own life. That's what I promote. Freedom of mind here. For you to do for yourself, because you know what's best. That's all I'm trying to do here. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.